Before your very eyes, I have 24 packs of 1990 Fleer baseball cards. I have some wild fantasy that in all of the junk wax that I have, which is a lot, I will be able to dig out a PSA or SGC 10. Do you think it's possible? Now, the thing about these 24 packs in particular is I did not buy them in a wax box. So that's has a lot of risk with these loose wax packs. Could easily have been searched back in the day. That's what people did because they're called, well, scoundrels. So inside of the Fleer 1990 baseball checklist, we're going to find the usual suspects who would be at the top of the leaderboard with regard to value when it comes to an SGC or a PSA 10. I'm sure it's a King Griffey Jr., Bo Jackson, Nolan Ryan, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire. All of those junk wax sweethearts are waiting for us right now. So as we open these, if we're not seeing those cards, we know I bought a bunch of junk wax that have been searched. But let's take a quick look to see what are the PSA 10s valued at these days for a 1990 Fleer baseball card that would be at the top of the value leaderboard. Let's take a look right now. All right, here we are over on the eBay, and we're looking at 1990 Fleer baseball PSA 10. This is what I did was I did the search. It usually starts with the best match, and I went to highest price first just to get a little chuckle, because you can see this Jose Uribe. They call it the error card. Almost all of the 1990 Jose Uribe has the wrong birth year. So $20,999, that's probably how they launder money. So we've got a Sammy Sosa error card for $15,000. We get the $7,500 Soaring Stars of Ken Griffey Jr. There's another Jose Uribe, another junior. So what matters is what? Well, where the rubber meets the road is what has actually sold. So let's take a look at, whoa. That is a lot. That actually is a lot of money that I would have never considered. Is that signed? Is it? No. So $1,911 for a Soaring Stars PSA 10. So we'll be looking for that for sure. We got a Larry Walker rookie in there, but this one's actually signed. Here's a Bo Jackson league leaders for $254.50. And we have a 1990. This is from so this would have been a hand cut from a wax box. To get a 9 on a hand cut card is pretty awesome. $218.50. Michael Jordan. That's not baseball. The baseball all-stars. There is award winner Ken Griffey with the offer accepted below 180. Here is a PSA 10 Fleer printed in Canada, so Canadian. I'm sure that holds a little bit extra premium. This Ricky Henderson is signed, so what can we really expect? Can we put minus auto in there? I mean, come on. So whenever I want to eliminate particular from a search, I use the minus and then whatever that word would be. All right, let's go to best match. How about ended recently? Let's look at that. Maybe we'll get something more realistic. Okay, this is more realistic. A PSA 9 for 1997. Because there's going to be a huge discrepancy between 9s and 10s in the junk wax era. So, for instance, here's a Sammy Sosa rookie PSA 10 for $10. I mean, PSA 9 for $10, and an Ozzie Smith PSA 10 for $60. So I'm going to say we're going to be between $30 and $60, and there's an example of 30 as far as the big hitters are concerned when it comes to the 1990 Fleer baseball PSA or SGC 10s. So let's get to the ripping and see if we can't find ourselves some sweethearts. Let's get to the ripping, and here are the 24 packs. Let's go through them right now. We'll see how long it takes me. I'm probably going to try to move fairly quickly once we get this going and refresh your memory on what the 1990 Fleer looks like. I liked it. It was a very clean set. I remember having many of these back in the day, but it did sell off almost my entire baseball card collection after my father died in April of 2016. Just a little bit of a emotional cleansing, because I had to clean out me and my brother had to clean out his trailer that he lived in alone for many, many years. So the good news is there's no gum in the Flair product. So I love the stickers. I've always loved these. So that's very nice. And let's start with a Tom Henke, Stan Javier, Dickie Thon, Rance Malinkins, Doug Drabeck. He was a good player, but wasn't a Hall of Famer. We're looking for Hall of Famers and all the top sweethearts. Jeff Reardon, Rafael Belliard, Tom Bernasky. Well, something stuck in there. Maybe a couple of them stuck. Oh, Lee Smith. That is, put it on the board. Yes, that is a first Hall of Famer hit. Former Cubby sweetheart, Jeff Reed, Wallace Johnson, Jeffrey Leonard. And there's that Jose Uribe. It's probably the error card. I think it is. I think the error is whatever I have to look at what the date of his birthday is. We can put this up for, I don't know, 100 grand. Maybe we'll get it. Let's get to the next pack. Get to the getting. But as much as people dislike the junk wax, I still absolutely love it because it provides a visceral. There's the Baltimore Orioles. Provides a visceral response for me because these are the guys that I watched the most this era. I was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. So this era really makes me feel really nice inside. So there's a Joey Cora, Clay Parker, Jim Clancy, Dick Schofield, Kelly Gruber, Jim Corsi, David Wells. Hey, there's a Barry Bonds. Let's take a look at it. It looks, even though it's a bit off center, okay, right, thicker than left. Got a little action going there, but it has a decent feel to it. Now, I would not send this card off to be graded because just right off the bat, it's off center. But as far as the quality right now of these first two packs is certainly there. Barry Bonds, I know that you don't want to hear this, but you can make an argument that he's the greatest player of all time. Leave a little pause in there for you to respond out loud. Edgar Martinez, we'll put him up in the Ozzie Guillen, we'll put him up there as well because I live near Chicago. I live in Valparaiso, Indiana. I'm a Cubs fan, but Ozzie Guillen, being a Sox player, all my Sox friends loved Ozzie Guillen back in the day. But Barry Bonds, arguably the greatest player of all time. I would still probably put Babe Ruth at the top. I'd probably go Babe Ruth 1, Barry Bonds 2, Willie Mays 3. What are your top 3 of all time? Royals. Here we got a Mark Lemke, Willie Randolph, Jay Tibbs. Oh, there he is, Ricky. Oh, Ricky, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Ricky, come on. Hey, Ricky. What do you see? A couple of Rickies up there. Can you see this one? No, you can't see that one. Here is actually pack-pulled Ricky Henderson rookie that I actually purchased at the Swanson's Dairy, Portage, Indiana. We would go there and get a pack or two at a time, me and my pals. Look at the condition of that. The only problem is through the years of me moving it around, get a little damage on the top there, but the centering's pretty good. Back is excellent. And I actually keep that raw just because, in the day we considered grading cards 0.0% of the time. This is way off center, but still, obviously the Ricky, my greatest player of all time, obviously is Ricky Henderson. Ken Griffey Jr. would be number 2. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Pete Incaviglia, Darrell Evans. There is a Delano DeShios, Jason Grimsley, Todd Zeal, Greg Jeffries. Remember when that was a big, not this card, but remember when Greg Jeffries, what was it? The 80, what year was that? That was the big Greg Jeffries card. Let's look on the back to see. It's probably the 88. Maybe 89. You would know better than me. Let me know in the comments below. But we do have 3 Hall of Famers on the board, 2 runner-ups with Edgar Martinez and Ozzie Guillen. Could I have put more runner-ups on there? Of course. We'll get to it, though. Because I like to go with, well, what gives me the most response? Who do I have the fondest memories of? Charlie Hayes, you know, Ke'Bryan Kobe Hayes. He's on the Pirates now. His son, Bobby Witt. Hey, Bobby Witt Jr., one of the best young players in the league. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards, and it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. Get that little piece off there. Let me look closely. Let's look closely together. Yeah, maybe the top is a little off, but left to right, it's a little thicker on the left than right. But in general, this would be definitely a candidate for a closer look. I would actually love this particular card in my PC. I don't know what it is about when you have two sweethearts on one card. Like, I just happen to have just a random one right here. Oh, this is a 1990 Flair, so we'll be looking for this too. Hojo and Rhino. Hello, Ryan Sandberg with my Cubbies. So we'll find that card again, but that was obviously from some other 1990 Flair pack pulling. Juan Samuel, Mike Devereaux, Charlie O'Brien, and there we go. Into the next pack. So we've got some good guys on the board. We even have one that would be a candidate for grading. And Bonds is not horrible also, but it would easily, I would imagine, go automatic to a 9 Oakland A's based on what we saw on the side there. Herm Winningham, Zane Smith, Scott Bankhead, Mike Morgan, Ken Caminiti. We'll put him up on the runner-up. Look at how well-centered Caminiti is. Get a little action there. Can we focus? Can't see it from this iPhone 2, but it's there. Dave Stewart, he should be up on here as well. Lance Stewart. Darren Dalton, always liked him. Charlie Huff with that knuckleball. Geronimo. Oh, there we go again. Another doubler. Look at that beautiful doubler. Probably not gradable, but a great card for the PC. Tony Fernandez and Cal Ripken Jr. So you like this pack? I don't know. I mean, is this how it came, or has this been resealed? Let's see if this pack is missing stars. That's the first clue. Who do we got here? Brewers. Rob Murphy. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Mark Davis, 1990 Fleer All-Star Team. So not what we're looking for the All-Star team, but those are cool cards. Everybody loves inserts. I mean, just think about how many inserts we see these days. We've seen this collation before, have we not? No, it changed on us. Lance Parrish, Tom Hinkie. Who do we have here? Nobody. Yeah, so that was missing stars. So maybe that one was one of those that had been searched. I don't know. I just find it appalling that somebody would actually try to do that with a pack of baseball cards. I mean, come on. Are you American or not? Expos, everybody misses the Expos in their logo. Dan Petrie glass, or Petri dish. Rick Aguilera. There's Damon Berryhill. We got to put all those Cubbies aside for my Cubbies PC. Benito Santiago. He deserves a spot up here. Mike Hartley. Randy Reddy. Jack Doherty. Spike Owen. Willie Wilson. Carlos Martinez. Pat Sheridan. Kurt Wilkerson goes in that Cubby pile. Chuck Finley. He was a great pitcher. Tony Fernandez. We saw him up there with Mr. Ripken, the Iron Man, the Iron Horse. I did cry the night that he broke the all-time consecutive games played record. I know. It sounds sappy, but it's true. There's just something about sports. I think it was just the way that I grew up and how important it was in my childhood. And I think a lot of boys that grew up in the 70s and 80s, sports was huge in their life. And it was huge for us because we had an amazing neighborhood with a bunch of boys that were me and my brother's age. So we had every possible... These all the rest are upside down. Okay. Mike Stanton. No, not Giancarlo. Remember when Giancarlo was Mike Stanton? Gary Reedus. Jay Buhner, I loved him a lot, but he's not going to make it up on the board. But if you grew up in the 70s and 80s and you had an amazing childhood with regard to the neighborhood you lived in, wiffle ball, hardball, tennis ball, you played 500, you had basketball tournaments, tackle football in the front yard, the side yard, the backyard, Nerf football. If you did any of these things and they still are the fondest of your memories, please let me know in the comments below. Oh, there's a Roger Clemens. It should be Hall of Fame. Way off center on that card, but I don't care what anybody thinks about the Rocket. He's a Hall of Famer. There's Griffey Jr.'s dad. There is Jerry Curl, Pascual Perez, Randy Johnson. Hello. And that looks amazingly centered. What is that? Just a little print situation. Corners look very nice. What would they do for me for that little print defect? I mean, typically a print defect isn't supposed to take too much off, because this looks like a 10. It looks like a 10, and it's the big unit. So let's put him on the board. Yes. And let's go up here with Lee Smith. But just, let me know in the comments below favorite players, favorite years. Like, for instance, my favorite Topps year, my favorite baseball card year of all time is 1997 or 1977 Topps. And I think what I've figured out is it just correlates to when I actually was ripping the most packs as a very young, tender youngster. So 77 gives me the most visceral response, but all of these players that you're seeing here was also included some of those players that I still love from the 70s. George Brett played in those days, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, etc. And then this group that had Ricky Henderson, Cal Ripken Jr., and Barry Bonds, Randy Johnson, Mark McGuire. All of those guys all make... Whoa, there you go. Player of the decade. Ryan Sandberg, and it looks beautifully centered. It's a little tall on the top. Yeah, maybe a little taller than we would want to send off. But I would take that in a PSA or SGC 10 all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. I would. See another cubby in the back. Hey, we have all kinds of cubbies. There's Dwight Smith, Robin Yount. He's off center, but guess what he is? He's a Hall of Famer. Let's put him on the board. We need more spots. Let's put him on the board. Yes. We got any more stands? Yes, we do. There's Robin Yount right there. And so I guess we can say at this point, these have not been overly searched. Maybe a pack or two here and there, but otherwise we have been hitting all the sweethearts. Even Joe Girardi. Yep, that Joe Girardi right there. He's been it's kind of a guest commentator with my Cubbies this year after losing his job with the Phillies. Was that last year or the year before he lost his job? Always like Joe Girardi, still do. Indians. Anybody there? Nope. Alejandro Pena. Jim Eisenreich. Jesse Barfield. Johnny Ray. Todd Burns. Frank Willis. Not a soul in that pack for the board. This one looks like it could have been easily searched. Now the thing about back in the day, and I never did this except as an experiment, never to rip anybody off, but you could open these wax packs real gingerly, keep them in perfect condition, search through them, and then put them back in, and you really, with an iron, could actually seal the wax back up. You dang scoundrels! What you did? There's the quad sticker. Always like those as well. Ted Power, Jesse Orosco, Bob Ojeda. I know you're in here. Where's those superstars? Oh, there you go. You called it. You called it. And again, these look incredible as far as their condition. Cal Ripken Jr. I didn't finish that story, so I'm watching the game. I don't know. What year did he break that? It must have been... Was it mid-90s? Mid-90s would make sense to me. When he broke the consecutive games played streak. And I'll never forget, for some reason, what I was eating, because it was so odd, but it was toast with butter and grape jelly on it. That was my snack, as I'm like wiping the tears off of my face with the buttered bread. Rick Sutcliffe, yes indeed. Red Baron. Paul Molitor, there is it's kind of it almost looks like Dante Bichette, but it isn't. It's Hall of Famer Paul Molitor going up on the board. Kirk McCaskill there. So if you remember that scene, you saw our guy, Cal Ripken Jr., just kind of made his way around the entire stadium, high-fiving the fans, just having a blast. And I'm like, I'm crying like Ben Stiller at the end of Something About Mary. Well, Barbara, Barbara. Anyway, don't mind me as I get a slug of, what is this called? Topo Chico. I've been trying to cut down on my caffeine. Normally I would drink like three tranches of coffee during the day, first thing in the morning, and then like after the gym, there's my coffees. And then again, like early afternoon. Well, now I've cut out the early afternoon, and I've tried to substitute things because I love, really, Flair, same pack. You search this, whoever sold me this. You're not going to save it with a Les Lancaster, I'm telling you that. Yeah, you search that, you scoundrel. So Topo Chico, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I drink so much water. Oh, look at this one. That a little, I don't know, a little fuzzy, sparkly treat. How many calories are in this? 10 calories, no added sugar. Topo Chico blueberry. Give it a shot. You may not thank me later, but give it a shot. All right, we need some more stars. What do you think? Let's get some stars. Let's get some stars, some Hall of Famers. Let's get some duplicates. Oh, there we go. Speaking of stars, a little thick on the right, but it is in beautiful shape. Is it? Yeah. Nolan Ryan, I would imagine. He's definitely in the top 10. You could definitely see the thicker on that left and right, and then you turn it over, and then that's our right. So yeah, we're thick as thieves on that one, so that certainly cannot be graded, but it can certainly be admired. It can be admired. Nolan Ryan, not the greatest pitcher of all time, but certainly one of my top favorites of all time. And I'm sure yours as well. Keeping it going now. Keep it going now. How many minutes? Whoa. This video's getting long in the tooth. I may cut. Oh, should I cut it after this and do a part 2? I don't know. I just don't want to lose your interest. I'd love to have the patience to then send some cards off. Get them back. Doug Drabeck. Didn't we already have him? Yeah, he didn't make it on the board. Raphael Belliard, Lee Smith again, put him up with himself, double on the Lee Smith. So we've seen this collation before. There's our Jose Arribe, 121, 1960. Kent Merker, oh, Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray, and Larry between the sheets. This one is off-centered as well, but again, fantastic condition. Let's put him up there with Robin Yount. Right there. Let's at least do one more. Maybe we'll call this part 1. Move on to part 2. In the next video, maybe one day. Oh, Donnie Baseball should be, in my honest and accurate opinion, Donnie Baseball should be considered for the Hall of Fame. I know he didn't play a long time, but it was because what? It was because he was injured. But during like a 10-year span, he was one of the top 3 players in baseball, maybe top 5. You wouldn't argue with that, would you? But like my dream video, Mickey Telton, liked him as a kid, would be I would start a video like this, and then in that same video, I would send off those cards to PSA or SGC, probably SGC, just because their customer service is amazing and their turnaround times are phenom. Willie McGee, we got to put him up here in the honorable mention, but not Mike Boddicker. Sorry, Mike. Then I would get that. Submission back and do a blind reveal right before your very eyes. Today, I'm not going to have that patience. But I do want to come back to it. I do have a couple of cards here I would send away today just to see what would happen. I'd probably send away the Ryan Sandberg, Players of the Decade. I would send away the Cal Ripken Jr., Players of the Decade. And I love this card, which would mean it doesn't necessarily, I mean, I'd love to get a 10, but if it got a 9, it'd be perfect for my collection. But I would take a 10. I'm just telling you right now. Can we get away with this one too? I wish it was like Wade Boggs. Of course, he wasn't a shortstop. Like Barry Larkin. If those two were in the same card. But that looks gradable. What did we say it wasn't gradable earlier? Why does it have a sleeve on it? I mean, can it be cleaned up? Has a little, got a little wax on the back too. Got a little wax on this wax pack back. Yeah, I don't. What am I gonna do? Clean that with pantyhose? No thanks. Put that back on the board. Nolan Ryan's close, but no cigar. If this didn't have like some weirdness on this right edge, that Donnie baseball would be good. The Randy Johnson looks serviceable. I think we can get away with sending that. So right now, I would say we have 4 cards. That's not bad. I think we're just about through, probably a little bit more than half of the packs. I'm going to end this video here right now. We'll keep those 4 to the side, and then I'll come back with part 2. And maybe part 2 will include the SGC grades of these cards, because again, it's like it's a 10 or it's not. That's essentially what happens when it comes to junk wax, if you're trying not to lose your shirt and all of your dollar bills. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video, this channel, and anything regarding junk wax, send them my way, because I'm going to be opening more and more junk wax just to get to that destination, that goal, getting a PSA or SGC 10 from a pack pulled junk wax card. I think it'll be fun. See you in the next video.